Welcome back, everyone! Musta na yung bakasyon mo? How was your long weekend? It's good to be back, so yeah. Welcome back to Stats and Probs. I just want to give you a little update pala for one of the items here. Kasi nga kanina, sa item number 6, di ba remember ito yung question. Di ba sabi dito, in a teacup ride, each teacup can hold up to 6 people. How many possible arrangements can this be done? Di ba remember na mo talaga yung formula for circular arrangements? Circular The formula for circular arrangements always n minus 1 factorial. That is the general formula. Ito yung general formula. Okay? So ito yung general formula sa pagsosolve ng ano yun, ng problem na yan. Kasi nga diba remember, 6 people, how many possible arrangements can this be done? Of course, that's 6 people, so n is 6 minus 1 factorial, and your answer will be 5. Diba? So 120 is the answer. Ngayon naman sa number 3, diba remember sabi ko dito, Dave, his mom, his dad, his 2 brothers, and his jowa. So diba remember all together that makes 6 people. They will all be riding together in one teacup. Find the probability that all the brothers are sitting beside each other. So this is the probability involving condition. Kasi nga, di ba remember last time when we do linear permutation, di ba remember ang linear permutation, let's say for example, di ba remember that all the brothers are sitting beside each other, di ba all the brothers, that's 3 factorial, di ba? And then multiply that by 3 factorial din. Pero times 4 kasi nga mag-shift sila. Pero dito sa ano yun, sa circular permutation, the formula goes like this whenever there's a restraining condition. It is n times r factorial times r factorial. Anong ibig sabihin ng n times r factorial? I meant or was it n minus r factorial? I think it's this one, n minus r factorial. Tama ba? N minus r factorial. Anong ibig sabihin yun? Ibig sabihin yung n minus r factorial, ibig sabihin, n stands for the number in the population. And then minus r because that pertains to the one with the restriction. Like for example, di ba remember, ano yun, di ba remember the brothers must sit beside each other. So therefore, this will be 3 factorial. So this 3 factorial here pertains to the brothers. Di ba? Pero n minus 3 factorial, di ba n is 6 and minus 3 factorial. So that's multiplied by 3 factorial. No brothers. Diba? And then when you multiply that together, you get 3 factorial times 3 factorial equals 36. Diba? Kasi kung sa tingin mo dito, you have to shift it. Because that can be shifted. Pero dito, hindi pwede ka mag-shift kasi nga diba remember, this is a circular permutation. And when we say circular permutation, it's ano yun, di ba remember, if this is 1, we have to rotate it. So parang siyang ni-rotate mo yun. The number of ways is rotated. So therefore, the formula, kapag may restriction, if you were to try this formula, it's n minus r factorial times r factorial. That is for the permutation that involves, ano yun, spinning around. Pero, no. Pero, the real formula, you have to multiply it by a whole number and shift it. Gets ko na. Kasi nga, diba remember, normally, when I watch this on YouTube, that's supposed to be 3 factorial times 4 factorial. Alam mo ba yung 4 factorial? That can be simplified to 4 minus 1 factorial. That is, of course, if you are going to simplify it. And 4 minus 1 equals 3 factorial. So, 3 factorial times 3 factorial. So, you'll get the same answer here. Kaya naman, that's the formula whenever you have restriction. So, kapag may restriction ka, the formula always follows like this. It's, di ba remember, ang general formula is always n minus 1 factorial. When there is a specific condition implied or criteria, it's always n minus r factorial times r factorial. Di ba? N stands for the number of elements in a population and r stands for the elements with the conditional criteria. Or let's say for example, if you're with a family, di ba? Let's say for example, you're with there's a cable car, your mom, your dad, and then one of them is a stranger. So of course, you don't want to sit beside stranger. Of course, you can arrange it in 4 different ways. So let's say, for example, this is you, this your mom, this your dad, and this the stranger. So this is me, Rafi, my mom, my dad, and then stranger. So therefore, di ba remember, normally, we can arrange this in 3 factorial, tama? Of course, the one in front of me has to be the stranger kasi nga ayaw ko talaga mag-upo sa stranger. So that's one possibility. Di ba? Kasi nga, let's say for example, this is how it goes. Let's say for example, if the question were, find the probability that, let's say for example, in how many ways can you arrange this such that Rafi and his parents must sit beside each other. Rafi sitting beside his parents. So let's say for example, I'm already here. Kung nandito ako, dapat kasama nanay ko, tatay ko dito. If I were here, nanay ko dito, tatay ko dito. Or either way. Kung dito, nanay o tatay, o kung dito, same. Pero since it's rotated, we have to divide that. So therefore, if I were here, dapat either mom would be here or dad would be here. Tapos yung stranger nasa unahan. So therefore, that's 2 ways. And the stranger will be in front. Pero if you want to put the stranger there beside me, therefore my mom and dad can interswap. Either here or here. Diba remember, ito yung fix namin, yung reference. Fix. Okay? The fixed reference. Kasi nga sa circular permutation, kailangan tayo ng ng fixed area. And then it's up to you how you can arrange the rest. Okay? Pero let's say for example, there's a sitting condition such that, let's say for example, the family must sit beside each other. So the family were to sit beside each other. If we were to apply the n minus r factorial, di ba remember the 3 factorials sa family? So therefore, n minus r factorial times r factorial. The r is 3, di ba? And the n is 4. So this one, di ba? So 4 minus 3 is 1 factorial. 1 factorial times 3 factorial equals 6, di ba? So 6 different possible ways. Di ba? Kasi ito ba remember, normally if we were seated in a line, di ba remember, this is my family. So of course, if my family has to sit beside each other, this will be 3 factorial, then times the stranger, that'll be 1 factorial, then times 2. Because di ba remember, this is where my family sits, and then 1, 2. 3 factorial for the way they shuffle, then 1 factorial, the stranger is here. Di ba? So 2. 2 ways to shift. Di ba? And that'll be our formula. Pero kapag circular permutation, of course, the number of shifts will be minus 1. Kasi nga diba remember, ito yung number of shifts in linear permutation. Diba? This 2 here pertains to the number of shifts. So we need to subtract that. Diba remember, ang formula ng circular permutation ay n minus 1 factorial. So 2 minus 1 factorial is 1. And 1 factorial is just 1. So 1 factorial times 3 factorial is just 6. So yun po talaga yung sagot namin. Okay? Pero if we were to multiply it by 2, that will be 12 factor 12. Kasi yun diba remember, yung stranger dito, tapos pwede dito. Tapos dito yung stranger ulit, tapos ito. Okay? So now you already know the formula whenever you have a restriction in circular permutation. If you want to understand the emphasis, you do it first in a linear way. And then the number of shifts, di ba remember that's the number of shifts, di ba? Like for example, there are 2. So you need to minus it by subtract 1. Because you don't need to include the shifting. Not like in linear permutation, we need shifting. Pero in circular permutation, we don't need to shift. Kasi nga, kung mag-circular permutation tayo, of course, you'll still be the same way. Kung mag-shift ka, let's say for example, Rafi's here, and then the others will shift. Of course, Rafi will still be here, my mom will be here, and my dad will still be here. Then a stranger will be here. Kung mag-shift tayo ulit, same direction pa rin tayo. At kung mag-shift pa tayo dito, same pa rin. So therefore, in circular permutation, hindi kailangan ang shift. So therefore, going back to our problem, to our item in letter C, this is supposed to be the correct answer. This is the right answer. Factorial of 3 times factorial of 3. Diba remember? N minus r factorial because there are 6 people in the ride, and minus 3 factorial because 3 of the brothers, of Dave's brothers, need to sit beside each other. So therefore, that's 3 factorial times the others, which are 3 factorial. So 3 factorial times 3 factorial equals, what's 3 factorial times 3 factorial? Diba remember? Fact of 3 squared. That's supposed to be 36. And then we need to divide that by 36 divided by n minus 1 factorial. And you're supposed to get this answer. Kaya nga, this 0.3, that is the correct answer. So this is the correct answer. 0.3, not 0.2. So sorry, okay? Buti nga, at least I was able to fix that problem. Buti nga, I researched this on the YouTube and I found a way to solve this. Okay? So now let's go to the next problem. Okay. So sa number 8, di ba remember sabi ko dito, saan tayo nag-stop? Ayan, di ba remember dito sa ano yun, sa item number 2. If she and the grade 11 class will have a roundtable meeting together with Ma'am Rain, Sir Erwin, and Sir Gaon, how many seating arrangements can this be? O sige, let's start from the beginning. Baka malay mo, let's say for example, if you have time finding the, finding the video. So let's start again from the beginning. So here we are. Number 2-8, Maria Villo is having a great time with her fellow classmates in grade 11. Letter A, how many possible high fives can she do upon, how many possible high fives are there? Kasi nga what you hold this, I wrote there, how many possible high fives can she do upon people? That means including herself. Pero, dapat in general, the grade 11 class. Kasi you remember, when you do a high five, you can high five with each other. Like for example, do you remember sa picture dito? You know naman, we can high five this one. So either I can high five my mom, I can high five my dad, I can high five a stranger, then my mom can high five a stranger, and then my dad can high five a stranger, or yun nga, sino pa? Diba, ito na. Or my dad, or my mom and dad can high five each other. So that will be 4C2. Remember the formula for combination? It's n factorial divided by n minus r factorial divided by r factorial. Diba? If n were 4 factorial, this would be 4 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. You know this would be 4 factorial, 2 times 2 factorial. If we were to expand this, the 2 factorials, one of the 2 factorials will cancel. Then we're just left with 2 times 1. Take out factorial. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 3, 6. So tama, we can make 6 possible high fives in this particular situation. In this situation, dapat it's 10C2. Kasi nga, di ba remember, there are 10 students in the grade 11 class. And I'm going to high five, and there, how many high fives are there? Ganito yung formula, di ba? So there are 45 possible high fives. It's combination of 10 and 2. Next, for item number 2. Di ba remember, sabi ko dito, if she and the grade 11 class will have a roundtable meeting together with Ma'am Rain, Sir Erwin, and Sir Gaon, how many seating arrangements can this be done if the admins sit beside each other? And furthermore, the ABM students must sit beside each other. This is a tricky combinational question. But don't worry, this is how the combination is implied. Kasi ito ba remember, in this problem, if we were to do linear permutation, ang linear permutation ay ganito. We know naman in linear permutation, how many grade 11 students are there? There are 10, di ba? And then, we also have the admin. Ma'am Rain, Sir Erwin, and Sir Gaon. So therefore, the admin, this is 3 factorial. And so that admin times this 3 factorial here, ABM. And then right after that, di ba remember, 3 times 3 factorial. So, ilan pa yung meron? Of course, we still have the stem, di ba? And the humes. So, therefore, that's 7 factorial. 7 factorial. Pero, how many times are we gonna shift? 8 times. So, we're gonna shift 8 times. Kaya nga multiplied by 8. Pero, di ba remember ang sabi ko? Because this is only implied for the sake of linear permutation. For linear permutation, this is the formula that you're going to use. So, the one I encircle here, ito yung formula para sa linear permutation. Diba, remember yung 3 factorial, yung naka-black, that's for the admin. Yung 3 factorial naka-violet, that is the ABM students. Yung 7 factorial, that's for the other students, who are STEM and HUMS. And then the 8 times 8, because you're gonna have to shift it 8 times. Diba? There are 8 shifts. Diba? So let's say, for example, the first group will come first, the admin, or maybe what you call is the student first, and then so you got some groups to choose. Okay? So tama nga, 7, and then what you call this, 7, tama nga. Because in general, that's 8 factorial. So ABM, and then what you call this, we have HUMS, ABM, that's 1, and then HUMS, STEM, then admin. So tama nga. Wait, that's 9, not 8. Kasi nga I do not know why dapat that's supposed to be 9 kasi eh. Or maybe siguro this is supposed to be ano yun. This is a different answer. Or maybe there are 2 restrictions talaga. So, yun. Okay? Now, let's go na to the next question. So, yun talaga yung sagot kapag ano yung linear permutation. So, tama. If you want to do the ano yun, the formula, you're gonna have to do minus 1 factorial. So, the number of shifts minus 1. So, that'll be 8. Diba remember normally that's supposed to be 9 shifts, diba? 9 shifts. Tama. Kasi nga diba remember if the ABM would be there and then you can shift them. So, 3 factorial. Diba? So, tama nga. That's supposed to be 3 factorial times 3 factorial times the 7 of them. Then times 8 because there are 8 different possible shifts that you can do. Or maybe it was 9. Kasi nga 9 shifts eh. Because there are 9 groups that you can choose from. Or 8. Tama. I'm not so sure what's the right answer. So, if you know the right answer, please leave it on the comment. Tapos the letter C, based on the previous question, find the probability for that to happen. So you're gonna have to divide it by the number of ways. So yun, di ba? Yes. So that's my solution. The factorial of 3 times factorial of 8 times 7 factorial times 8. And then from there, we divided by that 30 minus 1 factorial. So tama, and that's supposed to be our answer. So now let's go to the rest to finish the problems. Next, letter D. Sabi dito sa letter D, Ma'am Zai will let blank students report for their topics today and the rest will report the next meeting. Diba remember, this is a problem involving permutation or combination? Permutation. Kasi nga diba remember, sabi dito, she will let how many students report their topics for today? Different topics kasi nga each student will report about a topic. Like for example, sa Arling 1, it's about konsepto ng alpabeto. Arling 2, that's konsepto ng historia ng Pilipino. Arling 3, ang variety ng wika. So, different topics. So, that involves a permutation. So, that is permutation. 5. So, dapat, ang tamang dyan, dapat, ay Ma'am Zai will let how many students report different their topics, their specified topics for today. So, dapat yun yung tama. Okay? And the answer is supposed to be 5. Pero let's see why kung bakit naging 5 to. Okay? So, naalala mo ba yung formula ng permutation? Let's write it down. So, diba remember, ang formula ng permutation ay n factorial, n minus r factorial. And diba remember, sabi ko, hint, there are 30,240 ways for this to happen. And the answer is this one. 30,240 ways. Pero, diba remember, there are 10 students here. So, in this class, there are 10 students. 10 students, that's 10 factorial. Then, we have 10 minus r factorial, which is equivalent to 30,240 ways. Now, so this is what we're gonna do. Kailangan tayo isa-solve for letter R. Very good. So, why do we have to solve for R? Kasi nga, kailangan namin hanapin yung R kasi nga it says, how many students will report for today? And since there are different topics, kaya, kailangan tayo gumamit ng permutation. So, order definitely matters. So, ang kailangan mo gawin ay ganito. So, di ba remember, yung 10 factorial, ito yun sa one side. Tama? Di ba remember, yung 10 minus r factorial na lang dito, di ba you apply cross multiplication. I-cross multiply mo to. So, this involves cross multiplication. So, therefore, that's 30,240 times 10 minus r factorial. Tama? And then what you do, in order to solve for r all by itself, yung 30,240, you need to divide it para ma-list mo to. So, we need to divide this by 30,240. So, this one cancels. Now, on the right-hand side, we have 10 factorial divided by 30,240. So, we need to simplify that. In order to do that, we need to divide. So, 10 factorial, that's 10 times 9 times 8. Divide by 30,240. Of course, that's divisible by 10. So, maalis na yung 10. Diba? And we still got 30,024. This will become 74. 24. Diba? So, we need to simplify that. can that be divisible by 9? That can be divisible by 9. Because 72 divided by 9 is 8, diba? And what about 3024? Can that be divisible by 9? If we sum the digits, yes, they are. So that's supposed to be 32, 336. So 8 divided by 336. So 336 divided by 8. That's supposed to be, 4, 32, 16, 42. So therefore, that's 1 out of 1 over 42. Pero hindi pa siya sapat. So let's try 7 and 6. So tama. It's already 1. So therefore, that's 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6. Diba? So therefore, that will be the right answer. Or if we were to write the 10 factorial in expanded form, of course, it will be like this. Diba? Remember yung 10 factorial ay 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Tama? And then we divide that by 30,240. Remember, we divided by every number. We divide by 10. So it becomes 3,024. Then we divide by 9 to make it 336. Then 336 divided by 8 to make it 42 na lang. And 42 is 7 times 6. So therefore, this one cancels. This one cancels din. So therefore, what you're just left na lang is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which then simplifies to 5 factorial. So on your left-hand side, you still have the 5 factorial left over. So going back here, we have 5 factorial is equivalent to the 10 minus r factorial. Now, ano yung kailangan namin gagawin, Google, dito? We need to remove the factorials kasi nga, since the factorials are already identical, itanggalin na namin. So now we're back to normal equation. So 10 minus r. Now we just apply basic math to solve. How do we get the variable all by itself? We subtract. So we subtract both sides by 10. Diba? Using subtraction property of inequality addition. So we get negative 5. Negative 5 equals negative r. Oh, hindi pa tayo tapos. Diba, remember, naalam mo talaga yung mga fundamental basics sa basic algebra? Hindi pwede maging negative ang variable. Kailangan ang variable maging positive. Pero class, paano tayo itanggalin yung negative sign sa variable na yan? Madali lang yan. We need to divide by the negative 1 to remove the negative. Naalam mo yung rules ng multiplication? Whenever you multiply or divide by 1, it's the identity property to make it alike. Pero if you divide with both signs because it's negative and you divide by another negative, you will get the positive. So we need to get the positive version. So dividing both sides by negative 1, therefore r must be your 5. Your r must be 5. So therefore, yun ang sabi ko kanina. Ma'am Zai will let 5 students report their topics for today and the rest will report the next meeting. So ito dapat yung sagot. Now, if you were to double check to verify if the answer is true, try to put 5 into your r. Naalam mo ba yung 10 minus 5 factorial? So yan. So this will be 10 minus 5 factorial and this becomes 10 factorial divided by 5 factorial. So 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5, di ba? The 5 factorials will cancel. And you're just left with 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6. Let's put this in Microsoft Excel part, sure. So product of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Did we get that right? Exactly. We got 30,240. And the answer is correct. So therefore, the answer for letter D is 5 reporters. Yan. Next question, letter E. For letter E, sabi dito, how many students are chosen to join the scouting convention? Hint, there are 120 ways for this to happen. So class, kailangan tayo gawin namin to. Kasi nga, in this particular concept, there are how many students chosen to join a scouting convention. Pero, the clue there is there are 120 ways for it to happen. Pero, let's read the question again, class. If you read the question and analyze it carefully, would you rather be using permutation for this concept or would you rather be using combination for this concept? Ano yung sagot? Combination. Bakit combination? Look, diba sabi yung context clue na yan, are chosen. When we say chosen, ibig sabihin combination na yun. When you choose something, it's automatically a combination. So therefore, our formula must be n factorial, n minus r factorial times the r factorial on the denominator side. Diba? And, diba remember sabi ko dito, how many students are chosen? So, we're looking for r. Of course, our n we already know, even if n were not implied, we already know that there are 10 because in my class, there are 10 students. So 10 factorial divided by 10 minus r factorial times r factorial equals 120. Now, ano yung kailangan gawin dito? Diba remember, we need to bring whatever's on the denominator to the numerator. So therefore, our answer will be 10 factorial is equivalent to 120 times 10 minus r factorial times r factorial. Diba? Now, we need to get all the r factorials all by itself. So what we do, ang 120 ay mag-divide. So we need to divide this both sides by 120. So 10 factorial divided by 120. And this is what you're gonna do now. Di ba remember, you still have 10 minus r factorial times r factorial. Pero class, here's the catch. May dalawa tayong r factorial. Pero paano na yan? Ganito kasi yun. Di ba remember, if you remember your basic concepts of combination, ang 10 minus r factorial, n minus r factorial, that is the difference of n minus r. Like for example, di ba remember, if it were 10c2. So therefore, 10 minus 2 factorial, this 10 minus 2 here will become 8. And this one will be, ano yun? This will be 2. Kailangan yung dalawang r ay mag-sum up sa letter n. Kaya naman, di ba remember, may tinatawag na n minus r factorial. Kasi nga, the answer that you need to get in both of these r's is supposed to be the sum. Kasi nga, this is the note. I have to write this down for you to know. Note, sum of r factorials must be the, I think I'll change that. Value of r factorials must be the sum of the variable n. The value of the r factorials must be the sum of the variable n. Ibig sabihin, di ba, remember, let's say for example, kanina, just what I said, 10 minus r factorial times r factorial. If your r were 3, ano yung isang r dito? 7. If this were 4, ano yung isang r dito? 6. If this were 5, ano yung isang r? 5 din. Kailangan yung dalawang r ay magsa-sum up sa n mo. Kaya naman, di ba, remember, you have this n minus r factorial. That is how the game will go. Okay? Remember the rule, ha? Ano yung rule namin dito? The value of the r factorials must be the sum that reaches to the variable n. So since our n is 10, therefore, what two numbers can sum up to 10? It can be, of course, we know one more condition, ang r should be less than 10. So ano yun? It can be 1 and 9. Pwede. Pero do you think that can sum up to, can that reach 120? If we were to do trial and error, kasi nga, most people, what they would rather do, they would do trial and error. Pero, if, let's say, for example, if it's really detailed that they need to do the solution, this is what we're going to do. So, of course, di ba remember, if it were 9 times 1 factorial, hindi pwede, hindi sapat, that's 10. Kung 8, that'll be 90 divided by 2, that's 45. Di pa siya sapat. Kung 3, 10 times 9 is 90, times 8, di ba? That'll be 720. And then divide by 3 factorial, so tama, that's 120. So, therefore, we try 8 and we try 7 and 3. Diba? 3. So, 3 and 7. That should be our answer. Pero, that is just a trial and error. Now, if we were to show you the solution, we need to verify if this will work. So, ganito kasi yun. Yung, diba remember here, diba? Ang 10 factorial ay 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And then, we divide all of this by 120. Ang kailangan namin gagawin, we need to let all these products reach up to the values of the r's, such that the r factorials must be the sum that reach up to n. Like for example, 7 factorial times 3 factorial. Yun. Or 2 factorial times 8 factorial. Dapat ang product ay mag-translate sa mga factorial na yan. So, let's work this out. So, we know that 10, this will cancel, so we're just left with 12. Yung 9, this 9 will cancel, and then we have 12. This will simplify to 3. This will become 4. Tama? Yung 4, this will be here. This will be taken out. So, 8. Diba? And wait, we got the same. 3 times 2 is 6. And 6 is translated as 3 factorial. Tapos, si 7 all the way to 1, that's 10 factorial. So, tama. That's the value of your R. So, the value of R is either 3 factorial, 3, or 7. Kaya naman sa combination, when you're asked to solve for R, there are 2 values of R's. But take note, the sum of the value of R must be the sum, what 2 numbers such that you add together that give you to your N. And at the same time, when you multiply it together, it will give you your number of ways. Kaya if you were to do trial and error, that will be much more easier. Pero if it's too hard for you, you need to do it in a solution. If you do it in a solution, you need to simplify some numbers. And then multiply the numbers together and make sure to translate them into a factorial translation. Like for example, 3 times 2, that's the same as 3 factorial. And then you 7 times 6 times 9 times 4 times 3 times 1, that is the same as translated as 7 factorial. So yun yung sagot. So therefore, how many students are chosen? There are 3 or 7 ways on how this can be done. Either 3 or 7. Yun yung sagot. Now, sa letter F, based on your answer sa previous answer, find the probability that at least one of the STEM students must participate. Ayan, di ba remember ano yung sagot sa previous answer namin? It can be 3 students or 7 students will participate, the scouting convention. Pero I think naman, let's say for example, you know naman talaga, some of your math teachers, they will just let you do na lang the least number. So maybe they will let you do 3 na lang. Pero, actually, mine, I would rather do both. Pero if I were to do both, that'll be a tough time. Kasi nga, di ba, remember, ito yung solution. Based on your answer, from your previous answer, di ba, remember, there are 7 or 3 students who will join the scouting convention. Now, all you have to do is to find the probability that at least one of the STEM students must participate. So, when we say at least, at least, ibig sabihin, at least 1. And di ba, remember, sa STEM, there are 3. Si Migs, Veronica, and Kathleen. So therefore, here's how it goes. Diba? You can either do it in 2 ways. Either you want 10C7 or 10C3. 2 possible solutions. Okay? But I think maybe to some students, they want the easier one, so maybe they would rather do 10C3. But it all depends. Or let's say for example, yun nga, kasi nga I cannot tell the answer here eh. Because if I remember based on your answer from the previous answer. So yun. And you have 2 answers. You can have 2 answers here. Either 3 or 7. So dapat, let's try na lang 3. Okay? So find the probability that at least one of the STEM students must participate. So therefore, nalaman yung formula sa combinations. Ito yun. So di ba remember, this is 1 STEM student, 2 STEM students, and 3 STEM students. So we find the probability of each. So the product, di ba remember yung formula ng combination? It's the combination of the success. What's the combination of success? Yung mga STEM students. Ilan yung mga STEM students dyan? 3. So, 3. 3C1. And then, times, what? Combine of how many other students are there who are not STEM? 7. So, 7C6. And then, it should be divided by the combine of what? The sum of N of the success and the failure, and the sum of R from the success to the failures as well. So therefore, that's 10C7. So either way, 10C7 or 7C6. So let's try 7 na lang kasi nga I did it this way eh. Or I'll show you the 2 answers or you will see the difference. So yan, you will get this answer. So 3C1, 7C6, that's 10C7. So yan. And then, if you are to shift this, para patuloy na, di ba? Do you think you will still get the same answer? So 3C2, di ba? 3C2, and the combine, that's not supposed to be 7C6. Kasi nga, it doesn't match. So dapat, that's supposed to be 7C5. And that should be your answer. Di ba? At this one, 7C4 dapat to. Kasi if this is 3C3, dapat this is supposed to be 7C4. At yun yung sagot. And then you sum up all the probabilities together kasi nga, it says at least 1. And because why, and why do we stop up to 3? Kasi nga there are 3 STEM students. So we sum everything up and we should get this answer of 99.166%. Okay? Or another solution is, let's say for example, kung tatlo sila. So this is how the formula will go. So we do the same criteria. So product of combine how many STEM students are there? 3C1, di ba? And then combine 2C, 6C2, 7C2, di ba? 3 plus 7 equals 10. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So divide by combine of yan, di ba? So yun yung sagot. And then from there, we drag it in. Pero, fix mo yung R mo sa, ano yun, sa failure. Kasi nga, this is not supposed to be 2. This is supposed to be 1. Kasi nga, you choose 2, so dapat this should be 1. At the same time, this is supposed to be not 2. Kasi nga, you chose 3, so dapat 0. So yun. And then from there, you sum everything up. When you sum everything up, therefore, this is the answer. 70.8333%. So therefore, for this answer, for this concept, you have 2 possible answers. It's either 99.16666%, that is if 7 people are chosen. If this one, 70%, that's 3 people are chosen. So that can be your answer. Either of the 2. Depende kung ano yung gusto mo. Okay? Next, last but not least, letter G. Same as letter F, but find the probability that a student whose role is Princess Peach will participate. Ayan, di ba remember, it's the same as letter F dahil you will either choose 7 or 3 people who will join your scouting, who will join the scouting convention. Pero, this time naman, whose role is Princess Peach? Di ba sa Super Mario, ilan yung mga estudyante ko na may role kay Princess Peach? 2. And that's Kathleen and Rosemary. These 2 are my crushes when I was in school. And I remember during that time, habang nasa school ako, na-engage na ako sa love life ko ni Kathleen at saka ni Rose. Kaso, nag-deny sila sa love life ko. Kaya naman, yung nga, na-single na ako at wala na akong jowa. Tapos ito naman, hey! Shut up! Shut up with all your jowas! Ivan Lorenstein, you sneaky person. Kaya naman, nagalit talaga si Ivan Lorenstein sa akin. Because he knows talaga I have so many jowas. Kaya naman, nagalit talaga siya sa akin dahil marami na akong mga jowa. Hay nako, Ivan, I do not know what the hell is wrong with you, man. Pero I hope by now you've already changed for the better. So, yeah. So, Ivan Lorenstein, I'm very sorry for what I've done for you. Pero I hope we can still be friends. So, shout out to you in this video. And especially to you, Mom Rain, Migs Colinares, Kathleen Kate, Veronica Pen Basilio, Maria Villo, Kier Paulo Lim, Jay Gargar, my brother, my subordinate brother, and Ina Padigo, and all the other Chongse fam out there. Shout out to you all for this problem. So, yeah. Now, let's go to item letter G. So, therefore, ang kailangan namin, same pa rin ang ginawa namin sa letter F. Whatever, it's the probability of combination of success times combination of failure, divide by the total, divide by how many are taken. So, remember, it's 10C7 or 10C3. So, let's do this, okay? This time, it's already Princess Peach. And there's only one. There's only one Princess Peach, di ba? Kasi nga, a student whose role is Princess Peach will participate. It could be either Kathleen or Rose. So therefore, here's the plan. So this one is 7 people. This one is 3 people. Never mind if my solution look kind of ugly right now, but I'll fix it. Okay? So naalala mo talaga yung formula. So product of, what is the probability of success? So we have 2 people who are Princess Peach. So, 2C1. Diba? Product combination pala. I forgot. 2C1. And then combine of. Diba? Remember, there are 7 people who are chosen. So, therefore, we need, ano yun? We need 8. So, 8C6. Diba? So, 8 of the other students whose roles are not Princess Peach. And then divide by combine of 10C, 3. 10C, 7. Diba? 2 plus 8, 10. 1 plus 6, 7. So this should be your answer. 46.67. Now, if we were to do 3 people, ganito yung criteria. Still the same. Product of, di ba remember, combination of success, which is 2C1. And then, times combine of 8C2. Because we need 3, di ba? And then, divide by the combine of 10C3. 2 plus, and double check. 2 plus 2 plus 8, 10. 1 plus 2 is 3. So, tama. And we still get the same answer. So, yun. That's it.